Good evening. Thanks for joining us for News 13 at 11. I'm Manny Martinez. We've got a lot of news to get to, and we start tonight with two people in the hospital after a two-car crash near Loris. One of those cars then crashed into a neighboring home. Horry County Fire Rescue says it happened a little after 5 tonight near the intersection of Highway 66 and Daisy Road. No word on the condition of those hurt. The South Carolina Department of Public Safety is investigating. New at 11, Florence County deputies seized about 1,200 doses of heroin and other drugs in a traffic stop this week. Deputies arrested Waddell Daniels Thursday, and he faces multiple drug charges. At the time of his arrest, deputies say Daniels was out of jail on bond for a previous narcotics charge, and they found him with more than $17,000 worth of cocaine, meth, and heroin. Daniels is right now at the Florence County Detention Center awaiting his bond hearing. Also new tonight, one person is dead and another injured after a two-car crash in Georgetown County. Highway Patrol says it happened around 10 last night on Highway 51. That's about 8 miles west of Georgetown. A minivan crossed the center line and hit a pickup before crashing into a ditch. SCHP says the driver of the minivan was alone and died in the crash. The driver of the pickup is expected to survive. Turning now to the PD, as September is National Sickle Cell Awareness Month, some local chapters teamed up today to help fight the disease. This morning in Florence, the 9th year of raising awareness through a charity event as people walked 10,000 steps to support those affected by the disease. Donations made today will go to the James R. Clark Memorial Sickle Cell Foundation, a nonprofit serving sickle cell clients and their families. Staying in the PD, we go to Lake City for the Moore Farm Beer Fest, where people got the chance to travel all across the southeast without leaving the farm. News 13's Kiana Benson shows us how.
I'm here right now at the 9th annual Moore.
Thanks, Kiana. And here on the Grand Strand, if you need ideas for lunch or dinner tomorrow, the Beach and Chili Fest is back in Myrtle Beach with the 55th annual World Championship Chili Cook-Off featuring more than 200 cooks. Tomorrow's the last day from 11 until 6 at the Pavilion downtown. And this is the second year of the competition in Myrtle Beach. Moving now to the Low Country, where Boone Hall kicked off its Fright Nights for the 16th year tonight. You can take a ride on the haunted hayride through the woods or take a walk through the lodge at Willow Ridge. Event planners say all but one night sold out last year, and they've been preparing for this weekend's debut all year long. Fright Nights last through October 30th, and this year you can only buy tickets online. We shift now to the weather, as we're still in the midst of the Atlantic hurricane season. Fiona missed the Carolinas and tonight has been downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone, but not before the storm unleashed its fury on parts of Canada. Fiona made landfall in eastern Canada overnight. Streets flooded, cars submerged, and even homes taken out to sea. However, no reports of any deaths. At one point, as many as 500,000 were without power.
We're seeing reports of significant damage in 30 days.
Fiona battered the Caribbean last week, including Puerto Rico, where more than half the island of roughly 3 million is still without power tonight. Meanwhile, in Florida, storm prep intensified today as Tropical Storm Ian picks up strength in the Caribbean. Long lines at gas stations and empty shelves at grocery stores while the storm moves west. Ian is expected to be at or near major hurricane strength on Tuesday. Current forecasts predict landfall along Florida's Gulf Coast next week. Governor Ron DeSantis has already declared a state of emergency. And with that, we join Storm Tracker 13 meteorologist Tony Chiavaroli here in our Weather Center. And Tony, you've been closely monitoring Ian, and just a few moments ago at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock, we got an updated track, didn't we?
Yeah, as we've continued along here, we're still moving forward with what is going to be the track and where is it going to be.
Thanks, Tony. Definitely something to keep our eyes on. Well, a News 13 update tonight at 11. As we've learned, improper parts installation is the probable cause of a 2021 deadly small plane crash near Myrtle Beach. The final accident report published last month by the National Transportation Safety Board reveals a mechanic mistakenly installed the plane's elevator trim tabs in reverse. Those tabs are on a plane's wings and control the pitch of the nose. The plane crashed May 21st, 2021 in Socastee on its first flight 2 days after its yearly inspection. The report says 60-year-old pilot James Harper from North Myrtle Beach lost control of the plane shortly after takeoff because the tabs were working opposite his inputs. Harper, the only person aboard, died in the crash. Read more of the report right now on WBTW.com. And it's a recurring theme these days at Myrtle Beach International as the airport reports its parking lots are at full capacity. MYR is South Carolina's busiest airport, and travelers this weekend will have to use overflow parking, which the airport warns may cause delays. In the economy, risks of a recession are on the rise after a rough week on Wall Street, with the Dow dropping to its lowest point of the year. CBS's Michael George explains how it affects your money. And all weekend, the Grand Strand Humane Society is hosting free dog adoptions. You still have time to adopt tomorrow from 10 until 6 at the Myrtle Beach location on Mr. Joe White Avenue. All dogs will be altered, microchipped, and vaccinated, and sent home with a harness and a leash. The Humane Society hopes for 55 adoptions this weekend. And we do have some great news, as one of those adoptions was this guy. Dakota was our pet of the weekend this morning, and he was adopted just hours later. What a cool guy, look at him. His tongue just hanging out. Just ahead, a crucial upcoming election in Italy, as many voters appear eager to make a hard right turn. But before we head to break, check this out. It's video from Myrtle Beach of tonight's SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launch. Neat stuff sent to us by a viewer as 52 Starlink satellites were launched into low orbit out of Florida. And the weather at the beach tonight was perfect to see it. Welcome back. Today, Buckingham Palace published a photo from Queen Elizabeth II's final resting place. She's resting in the King George VI Memorial Chapel in Windsor, which Queen Elizabeth commissioned herself in 1962 as a burial place for her father. It features a ledger stone bearing her name and those of her parents and husband, Prince Philip. And happening tomorrow, Italy will hold its parliamentary election to determine its next leader. Its build is crucial because for the first time since World War II, a far-right leader, Giorgia Meloni, could be voted into the premiership. She leads in the polls. You are taking a live look over the Myrtle Beach boardwalk on this Saturday night. Stay with News 13. More coverage you can count on. We'll be right back.
You want to stay with us as we get those changes.
So, long story short is there's still a lot that can change between here and next week.
Either way that's going to happen with the end, we're still going to get some rain impacts. It's going to be more so how it wavers and seeing what wind impacts we're going to get.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Coming up next in sports, number 5 ranked Clemson worked double overtime this afternoon. You'll get a recap coming up. Plus, the Atlanta Braves in a race for the division snapped a 3-game losing skid. Highlights next in Candace Martino's sports.
But all is well.
All right. Thank you, Candace. Tony, weather headlines before we go.
Okay, well, the main thing is going to be we have a lot of sunshine locally, but we are, of course, still tracking Ian.
All right. Thank you, Tony, and thank you for joining us tonight. News 13 is back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock with News 13 Sunday morning. Have a good night.